You're watching Loudmouths.
Hello and welcome to Loudmouths, the great debate. I'm Eamon McAnaney, happy to be joined by Jonas Schwartz. And Jonas, we might as well rename this our own personal torture chamber because we're talking Knicks Bulls for the next couple of minutes. According to the Daily News, episode 6 of The Last Dance, upcoming this Sunday night, is going to focus on the Knicks-Bulls rivalry. So, Jonas, looking back at those great series, do you think the Knicks were the biggest challenge to Michael Jordan's dynasty?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt, and I'll tell you why. I think they gave the Bulls the toughest runs consistently, whether it be the beginning of the Pat Riley era and really whether it should have been towards the Jeff Van Gundy era, because the 97 Knicks were robbed of their chance, and that was the best team most suited to beat the Bulls. Why? Because they had scoring punch off the bench with John Starks, who moved to being a sixth man at that point, and Allen Houston gave the Knicks the outside shooting they so desperately lacked and tried to use guys like Hubert Davis for earlier in the 90s. But they were robbed. And why? Because Charlie Ward gets into a brawl, and what else happens? Patrick Ewing puts a foot on the sideline, and David Stern throws down half of the Knicks starting roster for games 6 and 7, which was absurd. All right? So I think that's where the Knicks really would have stood the test of time in taking care of the Bulls. Pacers teams were great. Karl Malone's Jazz teams were great. We never really saw the Rockets match up. Hey, by the way, people are going to say Penny and Shaq with the Magic. They got swept 4-0 in a series. Patrick Ewing never got swept 4-0 in a series. He got 3-0 once, but never 4-0. So I'm going Knicks.
Yeah, you know, Jonas, the 1997 year is a tremendous, great what if for Knicks fans. Knicks fans are still even also crying about Charles Smith not getting a whistle in 93, Game 5. I think that was the best Knicks team. I think that Knicks team was primed to beat the Bulls. I think if the New York Times doesn't write the article about Michael Jordan going down to Atlantic City and getting Michael Jordan fired up, they win that series. But I disagree with you. As much as I loved watching those Knicks teams, I think the 98 Pacers were a bigger threat. They were a veteran-laden team. They were battle-tested with Reggie Miller, Mark Jackson, Rick Smits, and Chris Mullin, not in his prime, but still a tremendous player. They took them 7, and they were a threat in that Game 7. That Game 7 was anybody's game up until the final minute. I think the 98 Pacers were the closest Michael Jordan came in his prime to losing a series.
Listen, the Pacers were great teams, and Rick Smits was a great low-post player for them to go along with Reggie Miller. I just liked the team where their dominant player was not on the wing, because we know how the Bulls dominated on the wing with Scotty and Michael. So I think the Knicks matched up a little bit better with Ewing as the center, even though he hung outside like he was a wing sometimes.
That's why it was always so frustrating. We'd sit there and say, why isn't he getting 50 or 60 on Bill Cartwright or Luke Longley or Bill Wennington? But obviously it'll be a long Sunday night for Knicks fans watching that episode of The Last Dance. Great talking hoops with Jonas Schwartz. Remember to keep it locked into SNY.TV for more Loudmouths, the great debate, and of course, all across social media.